Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
Andrew McCART, IFLTV. I'm here at it feels like we're in LA, but we're not. We're in Barnsley. The sun is shining. I'm with Dave Coldwell. How are you, sir?
I'll tell you what, you've got a better tan than me. In fact, you're looking a little bit like my older brother right now.
Is that a compliment, Dave?
Take it how you want it.
I'm just back from my holiday. I'm back from Turkey last month, so I've kept hold of the tan, which is good. But like I said, Barnsley, what a turnout for CALLUM Simpson here in his hometown. He's up against Chelli. Now, when I think of the British title fights, immediate fight come up to mind is Wadley Clark, Aziz Boazzi, Reece Bellotti, and Liam. You probably know Liam Dillon. Exactly, wars. Can we expect the same?
I think so, because the confidence of both fighters is going to lend to them both going out all out to win this fight. You know, the British title, especially British and Commonwealth dual title fight. Chelli, we all know what he thinks about himself and how highly he rates himself. You know, add to the confidence of when you win a title, you end up being it brings more confidence to yourself anyway. He's going to be supremely confident, you know. And in CALLUM, we know that CALLUM he's riding on the crest of a wave. He's come from small old boxing, and he's got this juggernaut in Sky and Boxer backing him and pushing him out there, and the momentum's been going. Wherever he's going around in the country fighting, he's getting a massive crowd that's coming with him. The people from Barnsley are coming with him. Now he's in his hometown at a football stadium, you know. Pressure. There's a lot of pressure on there, but he's the kind of guy that I think thrives on that, because he's still the same kid where he's very down to earth. You've seen him, you've seen how he is, you know. He's the kind of kid that'll still come over and he'll spot you on the other end of the room and he'll come over and say hello to you, just to say hello to you. How many people do that once they start getting into the big league sort of thing and the hype and the publicity? He's very down to earth. His coaching team, Mark Early and everybody else, they're all down to earth, and I think that's helping him cope with the race, the rise to fame sort of thing. So I think he'll handle the pressure. Chelli's going to be going into somebody else's backyard. I think and I think Zach will handle that as well, not a problem. You know, I think this will come down to who can implement their style on each other, because it could, if we saw against Cullen where Cullen had the height and reach advantage over Chelli, but Cullen never used that at all. And Chelli likes to raid with his attacks, and sometimes he rushes his attacks when he gets in there, but he's already closed that distance down and makes things a little bit scrappy and he's heavy-handed, gets his shots off on underway. We know that in CALLUM he's inexperienced. Sometimes he can rush his attacks, and when he's got something and he fires, he doesn't quite finish the shots, and he lifts his chin up a little bit, and he can be there to be caught with counters. But when CALLUM slows it down a little bit, and he does use his range, he's got a good jab on him, but he can pick shots. Even when he's up close, he can pick really nice heavy-handed shots. That's the kind of fight that he needs to be doing. He needs to slow it down a little bit and not get involved in that rush madness and the rushing raids of Chelli, because otherwise frustration could come in, because that's where, when you're in your hometown, and if you're getting tangled up all the time and you can't quite get your hands going properly and land cleanly, you can then start trying a little bit more, getting a little bit more tense, and then all of a sudden the pressure all just envelopes you, and that's where Chelli then could start getting to work. It's a really good fight, but there's a lot in how each man can implement the style.
And that's why it's an intriguing fight. The way you talk, that's why I like talking to you, Dave, because I feel like I've got a boxing mind, but you educate me every time you speak, which is good.
It's how I see the fight, and
the way you talk, I get engrossed in it, because you break down the small details. People might think his right hand will work, but you're breaking it down where it's the minute details. It's the things that a lot of fans don't see that you let us know about.
Yeah,
that's a compliment, by the way. Even though you give me a compliment, I'll pay one back.
Cheers, thank you. But yeah, it's like I said. I mean, Chelli's got a very awkward rhythm. He stood at range, he's waiting, and then he launches in really quick. But in the past, he's been quite guilty of, when he does get there, he's a little bit too rushed in his attack, so he doesn't quite land cleanly, and then his fights can be a little bit scrappy. But he's been working. I presume he's still with the same coach as last time out. So it'll be that was a change for him, and so it'll be another camp with with his coach where maybe things are getting ironed out, and we could see improvements in that fight. So it's a really good fight. I'm really looking forward to it.
Maybe not the deepest of undercards, but we've got some very, very good talent. That fight is just about to do a face-off, and Steve and McKenna, and it looks like Joe Laws are still going at it. I'm excited about this one.
Absolutely cracking. I think it's the first time I've actually been in Joe Laws' presence. I've seen stuff that when you see it on TV on YouTube, but he's absolute crackers. He's just constantly been before he was in the ring, shouting off at him, and he's carrying on now. That fight is going to be very, very explosive, but. You see McKenna, both McKennas don't give a shit. They go in there and just swing and load up and want to do damage with every shot. That's their style. So they don't mind it being out. They don't mind getting it back. They don't mind somebody else having a few, landing a few shots and getting a bit of success. Can Joe Laws put up with that? Joe Laws, McKenna's saying 1 round. I fully believe that he's got every intention of going out there and do that in a round. I fully believe that that's his intention. And some people say, I'm going to do it in a round, I'm going to do it inside the, oh no, I've got a game plan. I believe that's his game plan. And if it don't go 1 round, he'll do it in the next round, and he'll do it in the next round until he gets rid of Joe Laws. He'll just be relentless, because that's what him and his brother are.
Yeah, their game is badges, for lack of a better word.
Anybody. They'll fight absolutely anybody.
Well, Carolyn Dubois, we've got Billy Dennis, who I'm really excited about. I like Billy Dennis because, I rate him as well, that Turkish Tyson. When you've got a name like the Turkish Tyson, then that's not Turkish, definitely Turkish Dan, but that's a pressure within itself. If someone's going to call you over Mike Tyson, then there's pressure in that in itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's years ago now. I can't remember who he came and sparred, but he sparred in my gym before, and I liked him. And I thought he was a good kid, and obviously he's with Joe Gallagher now, a top quality coach as well, learning every day in the gym. He's a kid. I'm so happy that he's got his break to box on a Sky show, because he's a kid with his talent, and how he is as well. He's a nice kid. He deserves his break, and this is his big break. He was telling me about he's an opponent. I was just talking to him there just now, and he was saying he's got an opponent that's been in with Dan Aziz, been in with all these other fighters. That's good, because if you go in there, don't try too hard, but if you go in there and do a good job on him, then they'll start talking about your name with these other fighters. And although you're not ready for that level yet, the fact that you're being mentioned, you've done a job, this in comparison with this, and people just get aware of it, and get aware of your name. And then as you progress, and Joe will know when the time is to let him off the leash. He's a good kid, and I hope he does really well.
Yeah, definitely. Carolyn Dubois as well. She's been talking about Katie Taylor in that fight and getting these big names in her own right. A very, very exciting fighter. She's co-main event, I believe, is she?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's right. Trevor Schofield. I used to promote. I used to promote in Barnsley. Trevor Schofield used to have loads and loads of fighters. One of my first champions that I managed and promoted was Rob Burton, the home in Barnsley. So I've not seen him for years and years and years. So I'm gonna have a catch up with him in a bit. He's like a legend in Barnsley, so sorry about that. Caroline Dubois, for me, she's got a superstar potential. So Rick, I know they're talking about the potential of Katie Taylor. I don't see that fight ever happening. What does Katie Taylor need to fight her for? Katie Taylor's looking at like superstar fights. Caroline's the girl that's looking to reach onto her. But there's enough fights for her to become a superstar in her own right, get hold of the title. This is a WBC interim title. She gets hold of that, she's one step away from becoming world champion. I think in the last 18 months, we're seeing her development as a fighter. She's also been managing to get rounds under her belt as well, which is only going to be better for when she's, fighting the real fights, the real superstar fights. But in the last 18 months, I think her personality or her character has started coming out, and she's carrying herself like a star, and that's what we need. That's what we see, Whereas when she first started out, she was, a bit quiet, now she's coming out. Her personality's coming out of herself, and I think all she's got to do is keep performing in the ring, and then she's going to be one of the flag bearers of the women's game, definitely.
Well, it's an exciting card. I'm excited to be down here. Like I say, I thought I was in LA for a moment because I left Scotland when it was cloudy and rainy. I get to England, we share the same landmass, but it's when you drive 100 miles south, you get the sunshine.
Mate, this morning I was woken up by the torrential rain. It was horrific, and I thought, oh my God, I think it's going to be horrendous. And then it's cleared up. I've walked out here. It was a little bit grey. I've walked out here, and it's like, the sun's just come out. It must have been because you arrived here and the sun come out.
Yep. That's it. These can all thank me later because it was me that done this. Let's go to LA. Can we do a quick trip to LA and talk about that card out there? What a card. Now, I'll start right at the top, Crawford and Madrimov. Now, I asked Johnny Nelson the same question. It was you know yourself, Dave, you've been in the game long enough. Sometimes one of these elite fighters, even like a Roy Jones Jr., they go up two weight divisions, or they fight on too long. That's why the legacy gets tainted. But Crawford jumping up that extra weight division to 154, fighting an absolute monster, and Madrimov, who's young, fresh, amateur pedigree, all these sort of works. Is this a step too far for Crawford, or is this the perfect time for him?
It could be. You just don't. Sooner or later, if you keep stepping up divisions, sooner or later you're going to run into that guy that, as well as the size, he's very, very good. But then add the size into it, that tips it in his balance. Madrimov's has quality. People just because he's not a big name, people automatically assume Crawford wins the fight. I lean towards Crawford because of that. But it's a real fight. He's going in at 154, not against just a safe fight. He's going in at 154 against the top guy in the division. I don't think there's anybody better than him in that division. So he's going in at the top. That brings its own risk straight away. That's a real fight, a real danger. So if I was to watch that, which I'm going to watch that, but if I watch that and Madrimov wins, I'll be gutted for Crawford because I'm a big Crawford fan. But I won't be shocked. I won't be shocked at all. It'll be just like, it's boxing. But I actually think that Crawford's going to win the fight because I think he's got this dog in him. His skills, his IQ, his intelligence. He's great at managing things, but he does get hit. And Madrimov's sharp. He's a sharpshooter. He can punch. He's athletic. Comes at angles. It's a great fight. It's a great fight.
Billy Nelson will scalp my arse if I don't mention Big Martin BAKOLE. Now, it's his coming out party after all these sparring stories, what he done to Dubois, what he done to Joshua. This is his coming out party because he's fighting, in a lot of people's eyes, maybe the future of the heavyweight division, and a 24-year-old Jared Anderson. You screwed your face, maybe you don't believe, but a lot of people are saying Jared Anderson might be the future of this heavyweight division because he is only 24. What do you make of this fight?
I think it's a really good fight. But I'll be honest with you, I like Jared Anderson, and I'm hoping, because America needs a good heavyweight, and I'm hoping that he's that heavyweight. I've been watching him coming through, but then I watched his last fight, and it just gave me alarm bells where I thought, is he one of these, these manufactured type of heavyweights that?
The Charles Martin fight, or the one?
Yeah, I think it might have been Charles Martin. And I just thought, at this stage of Charles Martin's career, and if you're the heir apparent and you're that guy, you should go in there and do a good job on him. And I thought, after a few rounds, I'm thinking, I think there's something missing with him. I don't know if he's got that toughness about him. I don't know if he's one of these heavyweights that, once he starts getting cracked back, he starts getting deep waters. I don't know if he can swim. There's just something, and if you've got any of that in you, and you're fighting Martin BAKOLE, you could be fucked. If BAKOLE's as good as what his sparring stories are and what Billy talks about, then I'm expecting this to be BAKOLE's breakout fight. And all fun and games aside with Billy, I've seen BAKOLE spar years ago. I was down at Team GB once, and I knew BAKOLE because he was Makabu's brother. And I watched him spar, and I thought, shit, he's a beast. But then obviously he got his loss, and a couple of times he's not looked so great, but he's come back, and he's got all these sparring stories and all that. Like I said, if he's as tough as what they say, and he is persistent, and he does look, when he's on his game, and he's in shape, he does look good. I just look at him, and I just look at Anderson, and I think he could grind him down. I think it could grind him down. He's going to be moving around the ring so much, and he's going to be hitting him often. I think it could grind him down, and I think this is a really good fight for Martin BAKOLE. I think that Anderson's probably looked at the loss, looked at him and just thought, he's too slow, he's too this. But there's that other element in boxing where you can technically be good, but you've got to have that dog, that desire when it's going tough, and you beat somebody, you're doing everything that you normally do, and this fucker keeps coming at you and keeps hitting you, clumping you around and bullying you. I don't know if he's got that. We'll find out on Saturday night. If he beats Martin BAKOLE, He's a legitimate prospect. But I don't look at him and go, wow, he's the one coming through. Not now, but we'll see.
A couple more, but I'll let you go and do some real work. I've done quotes there. Did you see Eddie Hearn's interview with us last night where he said that he has had thoughts and he would like to run for Prime Minister of this country? Now, we know Eddie very, very well. Do you think he'll do a good job, and does he have your vote?
I'll be honest with you, right? It's probably tongue-in-cheek, it's a bit of a laugh, but right now, the last geezer was shit. This geezer that's in now, he's going to be shit. Who is that?
Eddie Hearn.
Fucking, listen, it's all tongue-in-cheek and everything. And we all have good ideas and we all think we want to, but actually doing shit when it's not just down on you is very, very more, it's a lot more difficult. It's not just Keir Starmer's going to have an idea and say, oh, I think we should do this, this is what's going to happen, and it happens. A lot of things go through House of Commons, Lords, whatever you call it is, all the different MPs voting on shit. Half of them are all yesterday's men, and they're in pockets of I could go into it big, but
This might be a different interview.
but in terms of Eddie, if he wants to go for it, listen to what his policies are and everything. Listen, he's done a great job on boxing. He's done a great job in sports since he's been in sports, right? Anybody that's young, connected with people that are around now, has got to be better than somebody that's completely ostracised from the youth of today. These fellas that are in charge now, they haven't got a clue about what kids today are doing. They're not interested. As long as you don't come on their doorstep, they're not interested. As long as it's happening over there and there's people running around machetes over there, fine. As long as there's kids getting stabbed over there, fine. We'll put out a little statement, we'll say we're sorry, fine. They'll get on with it, claim their expenses, screw everybody else over, because every government promises shit when they get in, and when they get in, they're a bunch of wankers that just rip everybody to bits. I was saying to my wife yesterday, I've been around, I've been alive in the 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties, 10s, and now 20s, right? And I remember from the 80s. So I've been through when they were picketing and shit like that with miners. I've been through when there was all sorts of riots and everything that's been going on. I've seen all that in the past. I've seen it. If anything, I remember when 30 grand a year, that was a really good wage. And you'd be well off 30 grand a year. One parent working. Now 2 parents are working. They can't afford shit. They're struggling. You've got people that are in full-time employment and living out of food banks. So you can't tell me it's not just one government. As I've been alive, all these governments that have been in power making decisions, their decisions are where we are now, on everything. And it's like now this fella's just got in now and he's talking about taking stuff off pensioners straight away already. Stuff that they said they wouldn't be doing. So who am I to say that although it's fucking mad, Eddie Hearn can't go in and do a good job? I don't know. I think it's full of shit and he won't be able to do it. But I don't know. But I remember when Donald Trump first started talking about it.
Somebody that's not a career politician.
Yeah. And so if Donald Trump can end up being president of America, the superpower America, and go away and now come back and ride out all these accusations and shit that he's going through, and somebody trying to fucking shoot him or didn't he shoot him or whatever. If you can ride all that shit and still be looking like he's to get back in, why not? You can't say anything.
Did you just compare Eddie Hearn to Donald Trump?
Both, yeah, maybe. Both got something going on with their hair.
Definitely, I agree with that. One final one. I'll end it on this. I should have ended it there. That would have been a good way to end this interview, but I'll end it on this one. Tyson Fury and Usyk is happening the 21st of December. I've seen a little back and forth on Instagram, which is fun, but I want to go to something that was announced maybe last month, I believe it was, when Tyson came out and said that he's not going to change his corner team. Now, I spoke to you immediately after that fight that Usyk lost, and we spoke about the corner. There was too many voices in there from his dad, from Sugar, and from Andy Lee. Now, we both said that maybe one voice may be better. Well, you said, sorry, I don't want to get people jumping on mine saying Andrew's this, that, the next thing, but he said he's not going to change his corner team. Do you believe him, or do you think that's a good or bad idea?
But unless you're part of that setup, you don't know. You don't know the situation. Maybe they just press the panic button and they were just all panicking it. Now they've gone through that experience. Right, next time you don't speak. Next time you don't speak. And listen, his dad doesn't want bad for him. You know, it's his dad. It's just I think his dad let his emotions get involved. You know, and you've got to take that away. No matter how much we've all done it. No matter how much we love as fighters and we want as fighters to win, you've still got to have that calmness and take the emotion out. And sometimes it can just be down to experience. They've had that experience now. Maybe it works all right. Maybe, you know, people. Unless you're in that situation, you don't know. Would it do more harm than good to Tyson if you take them people out of that corner? Say his dad, you take his dad out of the corner. Would that do more harm than good to Tyson? That's what you got to look at. If him not being there does more damage than him being there, what are you going to do? You're going to go with the one that's the lesser of two evils. Do you understand? So you got to look at that. It's not just black and white. I don't know Tyson Fury. I don't know John Fury. I don't know that dynamic. I don't know Sugar Hill, and I don't know these people. So I can't say it shouldn't be in that. At the time, watching it, yeah, that's wrong. I'll still say it. All these voices in the corner, wrong. But that doesn't mean the same thing's going to happen next time if Usyk dumps him on his arse. It might want to go, and then, okay. Or next time, like maybe as soon as it happens, as soon as he's coming to the corner, Sugar will look straight over and says, one voice. Maybe they decide, okay, we'll have one voice at a time, and then you can pipe up, and then as he stands up and he's about to walk in, you can just remind him of something that I've missed. Maybe. Don't know unless you're in part of that team.
Anyway, Dave, listen, thank you so much for this is a good interview. I enjoyed it, but as always, thank you so much, man, and get back to work, I suppose, eh? Thanks, mate.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.